So what happens when you run afoul of corporate vaccination requirements? Well, apparently you can actually lose your job. CNN has announced that they have fired 3 employees who violated company policy by coming to work unvaccinated against COVID-19. Although I have a question or two, which we'll get to, but apparently this has happened. Jeff Zucker, the media company's president, told staff members of the firing in a memo sent on Thursday that reminded them that vaccines were mandatory if they report to the office or out in the field where they come into contact with other employees, saying, let me be clear, we have a zero tolerance policy on this. So most of their offices are already open on a volunteer basis. Zucker said more than a third of news staff members have returned. And it says that proof of vaccination has been left to the honor system, but that may change in coming weeks. So that does lead me with wondering how they've already adjudicated this to fire 3 people. If proof of the vaccinations on the honor system, it seems to imply that they must have said that they were not vaccinated. I don't know. There are details I don't understand. But 3 people have lost their jobs. Brett, what do you think?
I think you should have an option to work from home if you want to work from home, period. If you can't work from home and you need to come into the office, I think there's sufficient information. It sucks that I'm gonna go into like a legal liability standpoint. Like CNN, it will be sued for liability if they allowed knowingly people who were more at risk to contract that virus and therefore spread it to come into the office. And so if I'm CNN and I'm running like that department, I would make a good faith effort to find places for people who are vaccine hesitant and making sure that that's earnest what they want, while not violating any kind of HIPAA rights. But I don't think it's wildly crazy for CNN to have a vaccine mandate for people who are going to come in the office and interact with other employees. The same way that your school asks for a vaccine, proof of vaccination, when you're coming into the school potentially to spread or contract measles or mumps or rubella on their campus. Like, I fully understand that. And what's strange about that is that turns into more of a like conservative argument, because now I know there's a difference between like the publicly funded institutions, but this is a privately funded institution. And so that private institution can have this. I don't see how it violates anything, especially because it's in line with other places where you have these kinds of protocols for ensuring that people have undergone some kind of base level protection to shield some company from liability.
Yeah, I think that the liability thing obviously like is, it's law, but no, I think it's true. They don't want people to die, obviously. I mean, let's acknowledge, we try to acknowledge our biases. Brett never wants to leave his house again, certainly does not want to come back to the studio. So I feel like that has influenced his commentary here.
I don't care. I would say it's like saying like, listen, what if Subway shirked the sneeze guard obligation? Like Subway has a sneeze guard so you don't get your gross germs directly on the lettuce. You have to sneeze, as I do, you sneeze toward the vents, which blows it back onto the lettuce aggressively.
Okay, don't eat at anything don't go to Sizzlers with Brett. But anyway, look, I think of course they're gonna have a vaccine mandate at a place like CNN, and they're gonna become more common. So I would get used to it. I think that we might debate it on the main show a little bit later on. I do think that for now, an option to work from home, if the job allows it, and I feel like for a lot of them it probably does make sense, but yeah, people's lives are on the line, so I would get used to it. For more political news breakdowns, interviews, stories of activism, and me trying my hardest to care about the occasional big celebrity news story, subscribe to our YouTube channel at youtube.com/The Damage Report. And you can ring the bell wherever it is so you don't miss anything.